Here's a question I don't hear very many people talk about. What if you don't want to choose between America, your country, and Thailand? What if you actually like parts of your life in both countries? That sounds pretty good at first. Spend part of the year in America, part of the year in Thailand, chase the good weather, enjoy two completely different lifestyles, and never really have to give up either one. At 67, I'm actually trying to live something pretty close to that, you guys. And I can tell you, it sounds a whole lot simpler on YouTube than it is in real life. When you keep a life in two countries, you don't just get two places to live. You get two sets of responsibilities, two sets of expenses, and sometimes twice as much stuff to worry about. So today I want to talk to you about whether living between America, your country, wherever that may be, in Thailand, after 65 really works, what it actually costs you besides money, and whether I think I'll keep doing it myself. And if you're seriously looking at moving to Thailand, I have my Thailand reality guide, cost of living calculator on the Rick's Adventures TV website. I put those together because everybody's numbers are different, and it's a whole lot better to work this stuff out before you sell your house and get on an airplane. Links will be in the description below. Now, I didn't come to Thailand planning to erase my life in America. I've still got my home. Behind it, there's a shop building that's on land that's zoned commercial. That shop is where most of my history lives for my life. I spent years in custom auto parts and drag racing. I still own my 29 altered drag car, and that car isn't going anywhere. At the same time, I have a real life here in Thailand. This isn't 3 weeks a year at a resort for me. Tia and I have our home, our working farm, and we just finished building a small restaurant and bar. She's also adding camping sites and a few bungalows next. Tia is even starting her own thing, motorcycle rentals and group rides through Assam, right along the Mekong and Laos border, so foreigners can come stay and actually ride the region, not just look at it from a bus window. And I like both lives, you guys. That's what really makes this difficult. If I hated America, I'd sell everything and be done with it. If I didn't like Thailand, I'd get on a plane and I'd just simply go home. But I don't feel that way about either place. So the real question becomes for me, can you actually maintain both without spending your retirement taking care of buildings, paying bills, and just sitting in airports all the time? Now, there's definitely a financial side to this. My house in America still costs money when I'm sitting, here in Thailand. The electric bill doesn't call and say, hey, Rick's gone, see you in October. Neither does the insurance company, the government property taxes, utilities, maintenance, all of that. None of that stops just because I'm not standing there, as you're well aware. Thailand is cheaper in a lot of ways, which is exactly why it attracts so many retirees, including me. But it's not free. I still have electricity, food, driving, upkeep on the farm. Something's always breaking. I do have a farm and things break on them. So one mistake people make is pricing out Thailand by itself and assuming that's their retirement budget. That might be true if you leave America behind completely, but if you're keeping a house and a shop back there, you have to add those numbers together, and that changes things extremely fast. One thing that does make this more workable is my business. I run a media LLC business out of the USA. It's actually what puts Rick's Adventures out of every week, and it doesn't care whether I'm sitting or where I'm at. I can run it from Thailand, the States, a laptop, anywhere with decent internet. And the plan that Tia and I had built around is pretty simple on paper. Summers in America, racing and building custom intake systems and parts for drag cars and putting them out on the media, and winters here on the farm doing the same to promote the farm and her business. But there's still bookkeeping, taxes, two systems. And that's the thing that makes the back and forth actually possible instead of a nice idea, is that we actually have two types of businesses running in both places. And I want you to know money is really only part of it. The bigger thing I've noticed is that when you live in two countries, part of you is almost always somewhere else. When I'm here, I'm thinking about something that needs done at the shop back in the States. When I'm in the shop, I'm missing my wife. That's the part no cost of living calculator accounts for. There's a real mental cost to having your life split in half between two places. It doesn't make it bad, though. My life in each place is almost completely different, and I like both versions of it, to tell you the truth. In the shop, I'm working on my drag car, mocking up intake parts, doing the kind of thing I've done most of my life. Here, life slows down. I'm on the farm. I'm sitting outside with Tia or listening to the frogs make more noise than they have any business making. But at my age, I look at more stuff differently than I used to. Another project, another building, something else to maintain. Now I ask myself, do I own this or does this own me? A house needs maintenance, a shop needs maintenance, land needs maintenance. Do that in two countries and retirement starts looking more like a full-time maintenance job than it is retirement. Now, that doesn't mean I'm selling the place in America. I'm not. Not yet, anyway. There's something reassuring about knowing I've got somewhere to go back to if things change here. I have a home, I have a shop, I have transportation, I have a business. I'm not starting over again at 67. That security means a lot at my age, a lot more than whenever I was 35. But security costs money. You pay for that peace of mind every month when you're sleeping and you're not there. Healthcare is the other big piece you've got to be concerned with past 65. It's a lot cheaper here in most cases, and I've had good experience, but Medicare doesn't follow you to Thailand and pay your bills. If you're spending a big chunk of retirement overseas, you need a real plan for what happens if you get seriously sick. Not a sore throat, I mean cancer, heart problems, long-term care. Pretending that's not coming isn't a plan. It's one of the biggest mistakes people make is planning different and not planning around their retirement and their health. You never know when something's going to happen. It might be 20 years, it might be 10 years, it could be tomorrow. It really doesn't matter the age. I've seen it creep up and happen to people, literally like the old saying, in a heartbeat. This is all part of why I like keeping some flexibility instead of treating retirement like one final decision you make and never revisit again. Maybe I keep the house a few more years, maybe I don't. I'm getting more comfortable not knowing yet. The bigger complication is my wife Tia. Her life is here. The farm, the restaurant she has, the motorcycle business she's building. My life is split between here and America. That's not the same situation as if I were single bouncing around wherever I wanted to go. And right now, there's something more specific sitting on top of all that for me. Tia went through the green card process. She passed it. She went to the interview. Everything was fine. But the process is currently stuck behind a political hold on immigration coming out of Thailand. So even though she's passed, she's not holding her green card yet. And because she went through the process, her old B1, B2 tourist visa got canceled. So right now, she can't travel with me to America at all. Not on the old visa, and not yet on the new green card. She's stuck in the middle of a paperwork quagmire neither of us controls. So you don't put immigration limbo on a spreadsheet, but it's real, and it's now a big part of why my life is split right now, instead of the two of us simply going back and forth together and following through with our plans. Relationships are a piece of the puzzle that people leave out of these retirement calculations more than anything else. You can price a condo, you can put a number on being separated from your wife, and you can't always control the timeline either. Everybody's situation is different. That's why I'm careful when somebody tells me every American should sell everything and move there. Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. I don't know your life because I'm still trying to figure out mine. So can you really retire in America and Thailand both after 65? I think you can. I'm basically doing it myself, but it's not the simple, cheap solution it sometimes looks like from the outside or on other channels. It works better with enough income that the two lives aren't, a monthly strain. It works better if you actually enjoy both places instead of keeping one out of the fear of letting go. And it works a lot better if you're willing to change the plan as you get older. Right now, I still want both. Summers in the shop, building parts, chasing around the drag strips, with my wife. Winters here with Tia, watching the farm and the bar and the bungalows as things come together for her. Watching her build her motorcycle tours. I'm not ready to close the door on either country, but I can see a day when running two full lives stops making as much sense as it does today. It could be health, money, or just one 24-hour flight too many. I don't have to decide that today, though. At 67, I'm starting to rethink retirement isn't about finding the perfect place. It's about building a life with enough freedom to change as your circumstances do. You need to be fluid. Have a foot in both countries gives me that freedom right now. It costs me more. It creates headaches. But for the moment, what I get out of it, it's worth what I give up. Ask me again in 5 years. You may get a different answer. If you're around my age and you've thought about living in the two countries, I'd like to hear what you do. Keep a home in America and split your time, or sell it all, simplify, and pick one or the other, as your main place and hub. Put it in the comments. I think a lot of us are working through the same version of these decisions. And if this channel's helping you think it through, hit subscribe and like, and turn on notifications. I put out real videos about what this life actually looks like, not the highlight reel. If you're running your own numbers, check out the Thailand Reality Guide and cost calculators on ricksadventurestv.com. The links are below. So guys, I'm Rick. Thanks for watching Rick's Adventures. Be safe, be happy, be healthy.